Hi, obviously I'm not an artist. In this log, I'm going to be displaying and discussing Issue 3 of Hachette's Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol. Issue 3 comes with 5 Infernus Marines, Primera Space Marines armed with the flame-spewing pyroblasters. However, I'm going to make a few changes to this video. Firstly, I will be painting the minis in the Blood Angels scheme. If you've been following the first video, I stated that I was doing the Space Marines as the Flesh Tearers chapter, unless I don't have the unit in my Blood Angels force. So I don't have them, so I want them in my army. Secondly, I'm going to use the exclusive sergeant from issue 5 as the squad leader here. This may bring up the question of what I will paint for issue 5. Well, what I can say is that it'll make sense in that video. Fingers crossed. Infernus Marines are Primera Space Marines that are in the fire support discipline and are armed with pyroblasters, which are portable flamethrowers as a primary weapon, and bolt pistols as a sidearm. They are unique in that their fire support blue helmets, which traditionally is a stern guard unit, meaning that they are backfield combatants, but their weapons have a range of only 12 inches, so they need to be forward deploying, counter shooter from Overwatch, or bailing out of a drop pod or transport to be most effective. The Pyroblaster weapon has the stat line of a heavy flamer, D6 auto hits, which is known as the torrent rule, strength 5 and damage 1, but also with the ignore cover rule, which means it negates the modifiers that models have if they were in cover. I'm really looking forward to dropping these guys out of a pod in the game to see what happens. I had designs on doing a similar strategy with the Space Marine Devastator squad, all armed with heavy flamers back in 8th edition, as the Blood Angel Codex back then allowed for the strategy. But unfortunately, I didn't get around to it, as I didn't have access to the models back then. It's a lot of heavy flamers to source. Painting in the Blood Angel scheme is done the way I've completed most of my recent infantry and characters, with a black base and then white Zenithal Prime, followed by a Mepiston red base layer, then a recess shade with Agrat's Airshade. To complete the squad, I layer an edge highlight using Evil Sun Scarlet and then Wild Rider Red. This does make them darker than the 40k box art and display images, but red I have learnt is a colour where slightly different tones can give very different looks. The exclusive Infernus Sergeant is a mini that in the promotional art looked really good, loading the empty Pyroblaster with a new canister of Promethium, which is the fuel that all Space Marine flame weapons use, and performing a catalogue pose on a smouldering head of a Tyranid bioform. It is also the first non-push fit mini in the range, so use of an adhesive is essential here. Due to this pose, I painted it off the base and upside down on a blue tack filled cork. I also found it difficult to adhere the mini to base when finished due to the amount of surface area on both its foot and Tyranid head. I added a custom pauldron from the now old Blood Angels upgrade screw and a bare head with a rebreather. Sergeants for the Blood Angels, you may recall, have black pauldrons with yellow insignia. To achieve this, I first painted the insignia white and then followed up with 2 coats of Cassandra yellow wash. The flame effect was done with a recommended white through yellow, orange, red and finally black layering. I still don't have the confidence to attempt wet blending yet, especially on an exclusive mini like this. It really did look weird and I was unhappy with its look off the base due to the catalogue pose, but once it was on, I now like it. Even more so when it was varnished. This always hides my sketchy layering well. Thank you as always to Winsor & Newton Matte Aerosol Varnish. You really make me look like a better painter than I actually am. Let's discuss inside the issue while the Space Marines take a spin. The issue opens with the assembly instructions, and like all Space Marine push-fit models, they go together very well. The magazine then goes on to investigate the number and type of different worlds within the Imperium, categorizing them as the ridiculously overpopulated hive worlds, the manufacturing planets known as forge worlds, holy farming hubs like agri worlds, and finally the much revered and blessed shrine worlds. The Space Marines then get a spotlight where their elite status is discussed briefly before information on organizational aspects of the force such as the vanguard and armored support roles. Explanation of companies are then stated, but it's mostly focused on the 1st Company veterans and 10th Company Vanguard and Scout personnel. With Space Marine Terminators likely to be included in further issues, there is a very short story on the concept of deep strike through teleportation, which is only available for veteran Marines in tactical dreadnought armor. The issue then shifts to info on the Infernus Marines, giving the reader an opportunity to add some narrative flavour by naming their squad and describing a deed through the rolling of a d6. The data sheet is displayed, giving the Marines their in-game stats before Mission 3, Cleanse, Purge, Kill is detailed. This mission sees the Infernus squad set out to destroy Tyranid infestation sites. This is largely to teach new players how to shoot from range with a random multi-hit weapon. And that is the end of the issue. I have had some comments from viewers saying that Flesh Tearers were a sound choice for a chapter for the Spaceman Combat Patrol. So I felt a pang of guilt when I co-opted the Infernus Marines into the Blood Angels army. Therefore, I've painted these Assault Intercessors as Flesh Tearers. And in many ways, they are more relevant than Infernus Marines. I mean, it's in their title. Chainswords, Flesh Tearers. Thank you so much for all the positive comments made on any of my videos. But can I please ask if you can recommend my painted logs to others? As at the time of writing, I'm within less than 10 of 100 subscribers, which is a huge deal for this small channel. If I can hit 100 subs, I will paint this guy. Yes, I have the teeny tiny but very angry fine cast resin chapter master of the Flesh Tearers, Gabriel Seth, who is now out of production and doesn't seem to be getting an updated model anytime soon, as he was not present in the recently released Blood Angels Codex. Anyway, the models from issue 3 and 5 are complete. In the next log, I'll be painting... Wait, I'm not sure. The next issue has 3 paints and a starter brush. Don't worry, I'll find something. Please like, comment and subscribe as I continue to chronicle the collecting, construction and creating.